Hello, sports fans. Mauricio here. Well, I want to try again to break down the update set join. This is one of the better DBA tools you have. So we're going to update. Usually it's a dimension table. Go update a bunch of numbers in some table and get those numbers that are going to be used to update another table. Go get those numbers from a select statement. So the video you see in front of you, I've passed out this code as a way to update a customer after a sale. So the customer has, here's my customers table. A customer has revenue, number of sales, so that's frequency, revenue is monetary, number of SKUs, how many things do they buy, and measure of engagement. Do they buy one thing, or do they come and they buy 10 things to our store? So we want to update these, and the way to update these to start is to have them be, default value 0. So if I did pull up the customers table in design mode, we should see those 3 columns had a default value of 0. And you have to start at 0 because 0 plus 10 is 10, but null plus 10 is crash. So first thing we need to do is make sure those columns are zeros. And then this code is to figure out which customer needs to be updated. So we're going to update, and I just showed you those columns: total revenue, number of sales, number of SKUs. The other ones are date-based. But we want to update those by incrementing them, so add to them. We want to update the customer record, some numeric columns for the customer that just made a purchase. So insert an update. Insert some transaction data, then go update the master record for the customer to show that they've been, purchasing more. So this is the query. Update set join is what they're called. Update set join. So you can Google it. You could put it in whatever program you want, or even just YouTube, and a lot of people explain it to you. So very often you get data from one table and use it to go update another table. Update set join is amazing, and because you can bulk update 100 rows or 1,000 rows or whatever. You can bulk update a large amount of rows all at once, which of course is very efficient. So this code that I've passed out is just for one sale. So just one sale is going to be updating just one customer. But what if you needed to update all your customers with all your data? So updating is made much easier if you can figure out this update set join. So again, we're getting data from one table. In this case, we're grouping it. And we're getting the data from one table and then sticking it in another table, or in this case, overriding the invoice state. And in other cases, incrementing one or incrementing a number. By the way, this first purchase, there's a if statement inside update statement, so that's pretty cool. You could also have a case statement inside an update, but there's only true or false here. So here's the test condition, and don't ask me why it's an IIF, but Microsoft has 2 if statements. If else is for program flow. IIF is an if statement that you put inside a select statement or a update statement or other similar things. So if there's never been any sales, then go record the invoice state from the invoice as the first purchase. If there are sales, then don't do anything. Just this is an update set, so just put the first purchase into the first purchase. Put the value, just keep that value in that cell. But if they've never purchased anything before, then go change the value of that cell. So that would be like a null being changed. But anyway, this is where the data comes from. I'm going to show you an easy one in a minute. But this is the data. So we want to take these 4 pieces of data and then condense them with this group by. Yeah. So I need this invoice date and customer ID. I'm just curious. Hang on, sport fans. Do you experiment? I hope so. So I want it to be, one line. So that's interesting. That's the data we need, invoice total and number of products. So that's our sum and that's our count. But we also need these other invoice state and customer ID for the whole query. But we want to condense data and then use it to go update the other in the update statement. So this is an update set group by join. But let me try to make this very easy. So I used this, and if you want to play along with me, then go ahead and do the same. So if you zero out these columns here, so I have 9 customers. How many of those customers actually bought anything? Let me check. Okay, so how many of those 9 customers that I have, how many customers do you have? So how many of my 9 customers bought anything? Well, we can count distinct. So if we don't put the distinct in there, the problem is this customer ID is duplicated once for every line item. So if we just count the number of customers, there's 62. But I want a unique instance of the customers that bought. Like maybe customer 1 bought 10 things, so I shouldn't count them 10 times. I should count them just once. So 5 out of my 9 customers bought something. So we should see that 5 out of these 9 records get updated. So let's give that a shot. So what we need to do is get the data. And so again, update set. I didn't put the join in yet, but sorry for backing up here, but I put in cell 59, but we need this to be variant, so I wouldn't leave that there. But if I ran that part, it wouldn't work because I didn't have a number in there. But this is variant, and so this query that I passed out, update customer after sale, that's to update the one customer after the sale. But what I'm showing you now is how to update all the customers. And the hope is that you could use this code, but the real hope is that you can think of, okay, now this is a new tool in your toolbox. How am I going to use it? When am I going to use it? What's a good usage of it? And I'll try to throw some of that in at the end of the video. So again, we're getting some data out of the sales details. And so I want to update 3 columns, revenue, sales, and the SKU, number of SKUs. I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need that. So total revenue, number, sales, SKUs. So we're going to update those. And so I want to select the data and then go use it to go update the customers table, just these 3 columns, but which rows? Well, we're going to update 5 of the rows, and that's the join part. All right, so we can't forget the word here, from, and so this is beautiful. as far as explaining it to you. So a subquery and this is a subquery, lines 9 through 16, that provides the values that can be used in the outer query. So this IntelliSense is wonderful. So revenue would be add revenue, and we're going to increment that. So plus equals, and so the number of sales we want to get. So this is why you use subqueries. So you could do some calculation down here and then just use the alias in the outer query. So the subquery, the inner query, does the hard work and then provides the good stuff, the columns that you could use in the next level. And you can have many next levels. I've seen queries that have 9 levels. People fall in love with CTEs and do amazing things like this, but there's restrictions in SQL, so you have to use subqueries. So go update the customers table, go to these 3 columns, increment them based off the values you pull out of here. I didn't do anything with the dates today, but which rows? See, that's the join. That's the powerful part. So get the data, use it to go update the table, but which rows of the table? So we know which columns of the table, which rows of the table. That's the join. So join, and then the table that's going to be updated goes first. And we'll do it as C. That way we could just say C dot. And then it's always the primary key. You join on the primary key. There's a foreign key to a primary key, but one of them has to be a primary key when you do the join. All right. So why this C dot? Because I don't want to type DBO FA25 underscore customers. So just C. And then what's the name of the customer ID in this table? All right, so we need to connect the customers table, the row from the customer table, the customer from the customers table, identified by the primary key, and then the get the customer. So the customer is coming out of the subquery here. That's it. So get the data, use it to go update some other table, and you can access. So it's kind of a fetch the data and throw it into the outer query, or at least the columns are available in the outer query. You just have to put parentheses around the subquery, give it a name, because it really is a data set. So dataset.column. So this is wonderful. The join again figures out which of the rows to update. So let's see what it does. So I don't know why I have duplicates here, but I do. So let me just come back to this one. Look at this trick. Right click, execute. I think somebody said, yeah, that's cool. You could just hit execute up here. But look, so 5 of the 9 were updated. Now, I've just hit this button 3 or 4 times, so there's no way of knowing if these numbers are real. So, I mean, we really do need some code here that says you can only update it once. So we're not really totally done, but that's an easy look at an update set join. So the subquery gets the data, the update part handles the updating, the join figures out which rows. All right, sport fans, see you next time.